Assalamualaikum Puan Laila. This is a video presentation of our group project on the subject Macroeconomy 2, Semester 1, Session 2025-2026, set 2 and Set 4. So, our topic is on Chapter 9, Model of Growth by Solow and Endogenous Growth Theories by Rama. Our group members consist of IRDINA, me myself Ezrina, EZZATY, and Raja AMARA. This video presentation will consist of the introduction, the explanation about the similarities between Neoclassical Model of Growth by Solow and Endogenous Growth Theory by Rama, the explanation of differences, and the explanation of the Endogenous Growth Theory by Rama, why some countries experience a faster economic growth compared to others, and lastly, conclusion.
Solow model developed by Robert Solow in 1956, where this neoclassical model focuses on how capital accumulation, labor and technology interact to produce output. In Solow model, technological progress is exogenous, where it is assumed to happen outside the economic system and it is not explained by the model. In the long run, economies reach a steady state where per capita growth stops unless there is external technological progress. While the model predicts that poorer countries with less capital will grow faster than the rich ones, eventually leading to income convergence. Next is Rama model. It is introduced by Paul Rama in 1990, and this model explains growth by internalizing the process of technological innovation. Based on Rama model, growth is driven by the deliberate production of new ideas or knowledge through research and development. Innovation requires costly R&D, and firms must be able to charge a markup to recover the cost. This requires a monopolistic or imperfectly competitive market structure, often protected by patents. Roma also suggests that the rich countries with a higher stock of knowledge may grow faster than poor ones, potentially leading to widening income divergence.
Assalamualaikum. I am NOREZRINA ALISA, and on my part, I will compare the Neoclassical Growth Model by Solow and the Endogenous Growth Theory by Rama. So, while they differ in how they treat technology and knowledge, they both share a strong common foundation. Let us explore their similarities step by step. First, Solow and Rama rely on the Cobb-Douglas production function to explain how inputs like capital, labor, and technology generate output. Secondly, they both agree that technological progress is essential to maintain a long-run growth in productivity. Capital accumulation is at the heart of both models. Solow highlights saving and investments, while Rama adds knowledge creation as part of capital. Fourth, both models stress on the idea of a steady state, a balanced growth path for the economy. In short, Solow's Neoclassical Growth Model and Rama's Endogenous Growth Theory share a common foundation. They both rely on production function, emphasize technology, highlights capital accumulations, and recognize the steady states. Their differences lie in how they integrate their technology and define the steady state, which I will explain in more detail on the next part. Now that we've seen the similarities between the two models, let's turn to their differences. These differences are crucial because they show how growth theory evolved over time, from treating technology as something external to the economy to recognizing innovations and knowledge as internal drivers of growth. I will walk through 5 key differences grouped across 2 slides. So, the first difference is that Solow treats technology as exogenous. It comes from the outside of the model and not explained by economic behavior, while Rama, on the other hand, makes technology endogenous, generated within the model through research and development. These differences changes how technologies enters the production function. So the second difference is through the production function, where Solow model output is given by such, where A is labor augmenting technology, while Rama's model instead use A as the stock of knowledge produced by research and directly enters as an output. So, the third difference is that the return to scale, where Solow assumes diminishing return to capital as growth slows as capital accumulates, while Rama introduced idea as non-rival input, meaning that they can be reused infinitely. This allows increasing return to scale when ideas combine with capital and labor, sustaining a persistent growth. The fourth difference is in their steady state. In Solow's model, the steady state occurs when capital per worker stops changing. Growth halts unless technology improves externally, while Rama defines steady state as a balanced growth path, where output, capital, and knowledge all grow at a constant rate. Crucially, policies that expand R&D or education can raise long-run growth in Roma's framework. So, the last differences is in their convergence hypothesis, where Solow's predict poorer countries can catch up if they share similar saving rates and access to technology, while Roma challenges this, arguing that without R&D capacity or technology transfer, poorer countries may remain stuck in low growth traps. This highlights how innovation capacity shapes the global inequality. In summary, Solow and Roma differs in how they treat technology, production function equation, return to scale, steady states, and convergence hypothesis. Together, these differences marks the evaluation of growth theory from external drivers to internal innovations. Thank you so much. That is all from me.
Roma's Endogenous Growth Theory. So technological progress is endogenous growth driven by intentional investment in R&D. Researchers create new ideas that raise productivity. Unlike the neoclassical model, growth can be sustained in the long run. So this explains why countries grow at different rates. Role of R&D and innovation. Technological progress depends on the size of the R&D sector. More labor and resources in R&D, we will get more ideas and we will get higher input. So one of the most striking differences between advanced and developing economies is R&D intensity, measures R&D spending as a percentage of GDP. So R&D intensity differs across country. For example, South Korea with 5% of GDP, United States 3.4%, and developing countries it's less than 1%. Higher R&D spending leads to faster productivity growth.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is ALIFFA and I will continue the explanations of my previous teammates. So I'm covering the education and human capital, also growth difference between countries. For education plays a crucial role in supporting economic growth because it creates skilled workers such as scientists, engineers, and researchers. A highly educated workforce is essential for both creating new technologies and adopting existing ones. South Korea is a strong example, with over 70% of young adults completing university education. This strong education system has allowed the country to innovate rapidly and move from a poor economy to a high-income economy. In contrast, many developing countries have lower education levels, which restricts their ability to innovate. Growth difference between countries. Overall, Romer's theory explains why growth rates differ across countries. Rich countries continue to invest heavily in research and education, creating a cycle of continuous innovations and productivity growth, while poor countries face structural barriers due to weak research systems and low human capital. Although technology transfer from rich countries is possible, it requires educated workers and strong institutions. Without these, countries struggle to adopt new technologies, leading to persistent income gaps in the long run.
Conclusion: based on strategic policy takeaways where investment take priorities, to achieve long-run growth, governments cannot rely solely on building factories. They must also invest in the knowledge economy through education, research subsidies, and strong intellectual property protections. While the middle income track, countries often stagnate when they transition out of the capital accumulation phase but fail to enter innovation phase. Success depended on shifting from being a user of technology to a creator of it. While from final synthesis aspect, complementary frameworks where Solow provides the map for industrialization and physical development, while Roma provides the map for post-industrial success and the digital age. While for sustainability, long-run prosperity is determined by a nation's ability to foster a vicious cycle where new knowledge creates economic value, which is reinvested into further research and discovery.